Friends, man, I was sitting there getting choked up because it was 15 years ago I was standing there as a first lieutenant getting ready to take the 547 to Iraq. Any members of the Iraqi freedom, raise your hand, because we got a few still here, okay? These are warriors. They would serve with me in the war. But the 547 is a proud history dating back to the Korean War. You are known to be just a unit that kick butt. We got Desert Storm veteran here from 547, raise your hand. We got a few. Yesterday we had a promotion ceremony, 547. You guys have a proud history, that's what I want you to know, the mighty 547. So you all need to know who you are. What we're here to do today is change command. That's a very important thing to do. Your outgoing commander, the XO, he's the acting commander, Tarp, has done a phenomenal job. He's gonna stay here a little while. But you got a new commander coming in. And a new first sergeant. Your first sergeant back there, I served with in the war as well. No personal. So this is like a family thing for me. But your new commander, I'm gonna talk about the officers. She's coming here because she's the best. I'm bringing you the best. I'm not gonna bring you nothing less. I promise you, you're gonna see huge changes, improvements. The U547 is already up here, but she's about to take it to the next level with her NCOs and with you soldiers. So I'm guaranteeing that. I'm guaranteeing that today. So give her your support. New First Sergeant Bacurano, I just want to say as you stand here, thank you, Top. Thank you. Thank you for keeping it 100. Thank you for doing all you did. Thank you for the fighting for your soldiers. Because I tell you, he would come in my office in a heartbeat. Respectfully, but he fought for you all. And I thank you for taking on a tough mission and making it successful with Lieutenant Tarp and the team. So I want to thank you all as I stand up here today. Let's give him a hand. But without further ado, I want to thank the families. You can't do it without the families. You can't do it. We have people who've been here for years that grew up in this building. But I'm not going to be here all day preaching to you, but I want you all to know who you are. You are the best. You're known worldwide. 547, there's generals that were colonels and that are now generals that handpicked and requested 547. And you guys did such an outstanding job in NTC that the word got around already. We knew, we took that tough mission, that it was going to be hard, but we knew you all would get it done, and you did that. So I have no doubt in my mind 547 is going to continue to be strong and mighty as you always are. So without further ado, let's do what we're here to do today, Hood. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Freeman. Today, First Lieutenant Stuart Tarp will relinquish command of the 547th Transportation Company to Captain Ashley Callahan. The change of command ceremony is a military tradition that is rich with symbolism and heritage, dating back to medieval times. Soldiers often carried staffs or standards into battle that identified them as a unit. Throughout military history, the unit colors have marked the position of the commander on the battlefield and served as a rallying point. While attacking or rallying on the battlefield, soldiers would follow the colors or guidons of their leader. In more recent times, the colors represent not only the heritage and history of the unit, but also the unity and loyalty of its soldiers. The colors are the commander's symbol of authority, representing her responsibilities to the organization. Wherever the commander is, there's also the colors. The passing of the unit colors represents the transfer of authority and responsibility for the unit from one commander to another. The first sergeant is the keeper of the colors. As the senior enlisted soldier in the unit, he is the spokesman for both the loyalty and concerns of the soldiers and the principal advisor to the commander.
The passing of the colors from First Sergeant to the outgoing commander signifies his last act of allegiance to that commander. The passing of the colors from the outgoing commander to the senior commander signifies that the unit is never without officer leadership. The passing of the colors from the senior commander to the incoming commander signifies the passing of his trust and also the responsibility for the unit and its soldiers. Attention to orders. Assumption of command order. By the authority of AR 600-20, paragraph 2B, the undersigned assumes command of the 547th Transportation Company, effective 14 October 2018. Signed, Ashley Callahan, Captain, Commanding. The passing of the colors from the incoming commander to the first sergeant signifies the confidence that the commander places in the non-commissioned officer corps and is the first sergeant's first act of allegiance to his new commander. Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel Freeman, Captain Callahan, First Lieutenant Tarp, and First Sergeant Vaccarano. Ladies and gentlemen, First Lieutenant Stuart Tarp, outgoing commander, 547th Transportation Company.
Good afternoon, friends, family, distinguished guests, and Sergeant Major Mitchell, Colonel Freeman, Major Madsen. When I was asked to come up here to make closing remarks of this command, I wasn't sure what to say at first, but as Command Sergeant Majors do, they helped out a junior officer, told me to talk on the accomplishments of the unit. The 547th has been my home since I commissioned, graduating from college a long time ago. Came out here relatively unsure of what my military career was all about. When I came here, we were in the midst of the transition into a new command, and I got to witness not only the impact that our leadership had, but the impact that the contributions of individual soldiers had on us as we moved forward. To start off, I'm going to start off with my battle buddy, First Sergeant Vaccarano. When he came here with a commitment to the Army values. He knew the standard that this military has, that the Army's created for us, and he strived to uphold it every day in all of his decisions. We all remember how when he first came in here, it was a little bit rocky at first in terms of our adaptation and meeting those standards, but as time passed, we found ourselves accomplishing more and more. For my NTC folks, we remember it exclusively in the desert, 118 degrees outside, questioning why we used to have to blouse our boots or wear a belt. It all makes sense when you're out in the desert, though, how discipline, adherence to these policies, and continuing to uphold the Army standard is what makes us quality soldiers. To speak to the NCO Corps, I've seen it grow and blossom. We've seen promotions. Sergeant Wilson coming up and joining us. We've seen retirements, with Sergeant Bradford leaving after 24 years of distinguished service, possibly more. It is a time of transition for the 547th, but it is also a time for us to embrace our history and our legacy. Colonel Freeman spoke highly of us in the past, but what we need to start doing is speaking highly of ourselves in the present, holding ourselves to a present standard and continue to move forward with new leadership. Yes, new leadership can at times be rocky, and it can lead to some undue stress, but by adapting to that leadership and by being stronger and embracing your past as well as your present to move into the future, you'll find that you continue to improve every day, marking those standards. I always speak on accepting more responsibility as opposed to opposing it. So in this time of growth, in this time of development, I want to thank you all for coming out here, friends and family as well, to support the 547th as it continues to grow into an elite unit and it continues to mark new chapters in the history of the DC Guard and the U.S. Army. Thank you.
Commander, 547th Transportation Company.
Good afternoon, 547. So I can't really explain to you how excited I am to be here. It's been a really long journey. As you get to know me, you'll know that I'm an officer of very few words. actions tend to tell a bigger story. So I just want to say I'm here to support you. I'm here with you. We're all transporters. Nothing happens until something moves,
Thank you, Captain Callahan. We will now transition to the change of responsibility. Will Command Sergeant Major Juan Mitchell, First Sergeant Carlos Vaccarano, First Sergeant David Bangura, and Captain Ashley Callahan please post in front of the podium for the change of responsibility. As one of her first acts as commander, Captain Callahan will now preside over the change of responsibility, as First Sergeant Vaccarano relinquishes responsibility of the 547th Transportation Company to First Sergeant Bangura. The War Department, in 1840, adopted the unique non-commissioned officer's sword. It is a completely functional weapon, not intended for display, but rather for hard and dedicated use. While no longer part of the Army's inventory, American sergeants wore it for over 70 years. Years that were witness to the Mexican-American War, the Civil War, and the Spanish-American War. The passing of the sword signifies the relinquishing of responsibility and authority from the outgoing to the incoming First Sergeant. First Sergeants may come and go, but the sword remains razor sharp. First Sergeant Vaccarano receives the sword from the sword bearer. First Sergeant Vaccarano passes the sword to Captain Callahan, signifying the relinquishing of his duties and gratitude for the opportunity to care for the soldiers of the 547th Transportation Company. Captain Callahan passes the sword to First Sergeant Bangura, delegating authority and entrusting him with the responsibility and care of the organization. First Sergeant Bangura passes the sword back to the sword bearer, symbolizing his dedication to the soldiers of the 547th Transportation Company and the continuity of the NCO support channel. Ladies and gentlemen, First Sergeant Vaccarano.
Good afternoon, 547. Can we get a hand of applause to the 547? Keep it nice and short, guys. Listen, it's been an honor to be your first sergeant. It really has. What you guys have done in these last 2 years, you have made other units step up their game to the max. More units want to be more like the 547, more like you guys. You guys hold the standard, you guys keep the standard. Yeah, it's a tough world, right? We always get on you guys, but at the end of the day, everyone sees it. You hear everything that the officers are saying, the command sergeant are saying, so you should be very proud of yourself. Everything that we'll say that the commander, the first sergeant have done, couldn't have done it without you guys. I'm getting ahead of myself. I just want to thank the Lord. We've done the impossible and sometimes dangerous, right? But we're all here. We did missions that they said one of us was going to be hurt, and we came back and no casualties, no injuries, no real injuries. So thank God that we're home and we're doing all this together. So I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Listen, today is my last day as your first sergeant, but I'm always going to be family. We became a family. I'm always going to be available for mentorship, whatever you need. You're my family. I'll always hold you in my heart. And I couldn't say, I have to mention Sergeant First Class Brathwaite as a battle buddy. I have to thank Sergeant Bellamy as a battle buddy. Sergeant Gray, battle buddy. Specialist Mitchell, battle buddy. My officers. And we have Lieutenant Tark. I couldn't have done this without Lieutenant Tark. I thank him for his leadership and his transparent and just coming out here and taking the lead in a lot of the missions that he took upon himself. So, Sergeant Robinson, thank you, best warrior. You've done great. Just listen, everybody. I would mention everybody. I'm super proud of everybody, and I wish you the best. And God bless.
First Sergeant Bangura. Ladies and gentlemen, First Sergeant Bangura, First Sergeant of the 547th Transportation Company.
Say hope. I can hear you. I can feel it. Good afternoon. It's a good day to be in the United States Army, especially today that I'm the first sergeant for a unit that I once belonged to. And I want to thank the friend. He was my lieutenant when I was deployed to Iraq. Sergeant Bellamy, I'm back home. Thank you. And I would like to start by giving all praise and thanks to God Almighty for giving me the privilege for a young man from a small nation in the world to lead in one of the greatest army in the world, the United States Army. I'm so proud of it. And this is George. Colonel Freeman, Michelle, and the distinguished guests, I would like to thank you all for coming out from your busy schedule to witness the change of responsibility ceremony. And I would like to extend my special thanks to my wife, who has been here throughout my military career, and especially to my son, who is now in a basic training, trying to follow the footsteps of his daddy. And I wish him well. So, left right step is coming to be with you all sometime soon. And I would also like to extend my appreciation, especially to Lieutenant Colonel Freeman, Command Sergeant Major Mitchell, for giving me this opportunity to lead one of the greatest historic units in the United States Army. If you all don't know, as Colonel Freeman said, 547 has a history to go back on these years. So I'm proud of it. So to close this off, I thank you all, and I'm back home.
Thank you, First Sergeant Bangura.
Charge your unit.
Will you please rise for the benediction?